Greetings, all of you mountaintoppers out there. Welcome to Erico Blueberry. It's an unassuming Destiny podcast. My name is chillybin.
Oh, it's your resident mountain bottom, Meckii.
I couldn't even get through it myself. The idea came to me and I was like, it's too funny. I have to say this. Um, I don't even know where I was going to go from that. I fully derailed my own brain. Hey, Into the Light continues. It's week 2. There are new weapons dropped. There's new quests to get them. How is your time with Onslaught and opening Shaxx's boxes gone?
Well, as you can see in our show notes in all capital letters, blueberries keep keep exploding my batteries.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Not a
Because are
euphemism.
they just letting it die?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what's happening is a lot of bloobs are getting too wrapped up in moving to the enemy.
Yeah.
So then when the especially in the playlist activity that's just the 10 waves,
Yeah.
it it gets really fucked up very quickly. Like those waves escalate very steeply,
Yeah.
right?
I also find
Between 6 and 10, it's like
yeah, I
the
do
rate of
find that
escalation.
because 1 through 10 is relatively easy in terms of how hard the enemies are hitting. I think people
Yeah.
overcorrect based on that and go, oh, we don't need to be around the battery as much, and then they just fuck off.
Yeah. When you do the one that's just 10 waves, I think a lot of people are forgetting that the rate of escalation is shortened for that one because you're
Yeah.
only doing 10 waves.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
So like by wave 4, you're getting smashed with ogres and then occasionally a tormentor.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like 2 or 3 giant knights,
Yeah,
right?
dude, that tormentor comes in. I'm like, you don't need to be here. This is wave 5.
But they're like, if you're on the Midtown map, for example, they're over by like the carts on the other side of the map,
Right.
clearing like Thrall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey guys, it's just me.
Yeah, I haven't had my battery die, but I definitely adjust my playstyle depending on what blueberries are doing. Like I'll happily do a little bit of yo-yoing. Like I'll run out. I'll do a little lap just to clear some enemies because the build that I'm running at the moment requires me to go and pick up orbs a lot to recharge abilities. So I am built around getting up in the face, but I'll just do a lap, come back to the battery, drop a thing off in it.
Mine relies on the little when you're
Arc souls?
ion
Oh,
traces.
those, yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
the
I'm
ion
also
traces so that I can become amplified
yeah,
and then my abilities recharge
yeah. I'm doing a
faster.
similar thing with fire sprites actually.
Yeah. So yeah, mine depends on ad clear. Sometimes I need to start chain lightning going, and
Yeah,
all I've got at the moment is a hullabaloo with volt shot,
right. Okay.
which can get that going. Um, but like it's been not good.
Yeah, yeah. So what I find myself doing is maybe 1 or 2 laps, and then if I notice that things are piling up around the battery, I will stay there and play tower defense by myself. And luckily, the build, and I'll talk about this build because it's a new one. But this build that I'm running at the moment, it can do a lot of very quick, high amounts of area damage. So if there are just a bunch of shit around the battery, I can basically clear it in one go with melee. Or super, because it is just a whole bunch of damage all at once. But I don't like having to do that because that's not really doing the onslaught thing now, is it? It's basically just like, oh, you two go have fun. I'll look after the car. And
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not been the best. I find the 50 wave one is a lot more pleasant with blueberries.
People are locked
But
in. We got to get to
yeah,
50, right?
the 10 wave one, I'm like, I probably won't run that with blueberries anymore. I might run that with homies
Yeah.
because it is a quick way to drop engrams and
Yeah.
it's a quick way to get your weekly playlist activities up to get a yellow.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, I was
and
doing that.
It's a quick way to farm certain quests
the weapon
too.
quests, yeah. I've been
Or
doing
even the bounties. It's
been,
like do 10 and you're done.
yeah, true. Yeah. I've been doing that shorter one when I've got like, I don't know, an hour to play. It's like I don't want to try to get a 50 wave in because chances are I'll be like pushing how much time I have available. Um, so I might do one or two of the 10 wave and then call it. Then I could just chill. But
Yeah.
yeah, I need to get these new weapon quests going. Actually, I've only done the one for Elsie's rifle. I haven't completed any of the other ones. So I'm going to focus down on those a bit because I do want them. I did get one of the like limited edition drops happen. I think it was a hung jury, which is kind of neat.
Oh, nice.
It's got the like the two perks and two columns set up. I can't remember what it's got, but it looks pretty sick. I'm going to say. But from what I've seen on Twitter this week, those shiny drops are exceedingly rare. I think people are talking about having done hundreds of runs and not gotten one. Or maybe it's not gotten the one they want. I'm not sure. But you just got to keep going. They're there as the you had to be there items. So be there and get them.
Do the thing.
That's it. Yeah. But it's I'm still enjoying it. Like it's a good fun mode. It is that kind of, at least for us, like the energy we approach mayhem with, it feels similar to that of, oh, I can just jump in. I don't have to think too much about my build.
Chat shit with the homies.
Yeah, or even if I'm just like doing the full 50 solo with some, match made blueberries that I'm not talking to, like I don't act I'm finding at least I don't have to change much of my normal playstyle to get through that.
You saying not talking to blueberries just reminded me of something.
Uh-huh.
I only realized the other day.
That they defaulted microphone settings on for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what blueberries have been hearing in game.
I had that after one run and I saw the microphone thing popping up and then I went to the settings. I was like, oh, this does, like, the settings don't do what they look like they should. It's like microphone defaults are always on, sure. And then it says something about like joining team voice channel is opt in. Or like, but what I expected that meant was, like my microphone is active so Destiny can use it, but I'm not in a voice channel until I join it. But I think what it's actually doing is just putting you in there. And so I turned all those settings off again. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to put those on by default.
Yeah.
That
I
is
don't
a
know.
nightmare.
I don't know if. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what those poor blueberries heard.
Probably
Me sing.
you yelling at your dog. Maybe yelling at them. What else?
You make it sound like I abuse my dog.
No, you just
I
like,
tell him to shush when he's
yeah,
barking.
yeah, and you call him Stinky, and I don't know how that sounds when you don't have the context.
Oh, you've heard it before. They've probably heard my high-pitched talking to Sergey voice.
Yeah, the same voice that I use when I talk to my cat.
Yeah, you've definitely caught me a few times when I've forgotten to mute as I've gone to talk to my dog, and you've just heard me.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
probably just that, right? Like, that's harmless.
Singing,
Yeah,
coughing.
singing to music they can't hear, which is probably better than when we're in like a collaborative Spotify session and I can hear you singing through the mic, but the music I'm hearing is like half a second ahead of you. And that always throws me way off.
I'm one of those people that I'm always just kind of like singing to myself, and when
Yeah.
music's on, I'll just like sing to myself along with it.
Yeah.
They would have heard a lot of health lately, to be honest. I've
Yeah,
been on
been on a health kick. You gonna say that?
been on a cum metal baddie core kick lately.
Hell yeah, dude. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually haven't been paying attention to what I've been dropping. And part of me is like, should I try and hoard a weapon?
Oh, dude,
this
thing is
just to piss people off.
Onslaught, like, sorry, Into the Light is rotten for just dropping guns everywhere, especially if you do a bunch of Onslaught. Like, you basically get at least one every time you go to the pyramid ship, which is twice per set of 10. And
We've got
then
15 recluses
yeah, like I am just
and
deleting so many things in the hopes that eventually I drop one that I think is worth keeping.
15 successions.
Yeah, like I've got a couple of recluse drops that.
Whole bunch of juries.
Oh yeah,
Woo!
Hunter is crazy. Yeah, I've got a couple of recluses that I stashed in the vault because they look like good combos, but I need to like take them all out into the field and just like test them out and see if they kind of work for what I want. But
Yeah.
I gotta go into the recluse lab and test some recluse builds.
The recluse zone.
Mm. The reclusey, you might say. Into the reclusey. Mountaintop the reclusey. Is that anything? I don't know. Yeah, so Mountaintop drops us. I think all of the weapons now are available, right? Like they were just doing it in 2 waves. There's 12. Well, there's 12 that they're bringing with Into the Light, and I think
Yeah.
we've got most, if not all of them.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. What else we had this week? We had the this week in Destiny dropped earlier today for us with some spicy raid info that people are not sure how to handle. It seems. If you remember back a few expansions ago, raids used to drop the week of the expansion at the weekend, and then they moved that. Like they basically pushed that a week out, so that it was sort of dropping in the second week, giving people a lot more time to like get ready for it. Um, the final shape is dropping, and then the raid is dropping 3 days later. And
That's wild.
they haven't really explained why that change has happened. I've seen some theories kicking around of this raid potentially being more heavily tied into the story of the expansion, and don't like they don't want to like leave that hanging, considering how much like I don't know gravity they're putting around this expansion. I think someone I don't know where this idea came from, but someone was saying that like the story will be like 8 missions, then the raid, then it will unlock a final mission in the actual like whole campaign. I don't know where that's come from, but I could see them doing something like that with how
Yeah.
big this expansion is and everything.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Mm,
It's so close.
yeah, I
Does
want
does that mean some people might neglect? Oh no, they might not. I was gonna say some people might neglect the campaign to prep for raid, but
kind of can't, right?
you can't because there's probably going to be drops in the campaign that'll be relevant to the raid meta.
Well, it was
The
also
initial raid meta
yeah, and also
changes real quick.
the thing they've done since Witch Queen is give you the legendary campaign, which basically gets you raid ready by the time you finish it.
Yeah.
So we've got that. Um, yeah, I think like it'll be. I remember because Beyond Light, the raid dropped that first week, right?
From memory,
Because
yeah.
I think we all went insane trying to get ready for it in that first week. Um, and
Yeah.
that was
It was like the
brutal.
next reset or
Yeah.
something.
And like we weren't even trying to compete for day one. We were trying to just get week one done. And even then it was brutal.
Yeah.
So I wonder if because a lot of the language they used around pushing it out by a week from release was of like accessibility and making it so that more people can get in and try it in that kind of contest mode environment. So I wonder if they will be making other changes to kind of support this date change. Because 3 days is not a lot for a lot of people, especially if like, expansion comes out on Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on where you live in the world, and then the raid is out literally 3 days after that. That is not a lot of time, my guy.
Yeah, that's great. That's really intense. It'll be interesting for the day one.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw maybe it was Datto or like someone of that kind of station saying that like, oh yeah, one of our usual crew like has their wedding on that date. So like, I mean, planning your life around a fucking raid release is insane. But if you know if you're like a content creator and that's how you like get a big influx of audience, then fair enough. But I think like people assuming it would be on a certain date and then getting mad that it's not is a bit ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure they have their reasons, and I think seeing this public response to it, they will probably put some statement out of like, here's why we're doing it, here's what we're doing to make it work for people. But yeah, it is just this is all we've heard about the raid date, and it's just a bit weird.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It's very weird to me as well.
yeah, but and we know basically nothing about it other than that, except that like on the website for the final shape, under the raid section, it like makes references to fighting the witness, which kind of seems like the whole point of what we're doing, with the whole expansion. So yeah, it lends credence to this idea of like it being much more relevant to the story in the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like, yeah, it's gonna make for a really interesting day one. And like the grind leading up to day one of
Yeah.
just trying to get legendary campaign done.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I've ever tried to do is that like that first week and a half, get it completed in that time, because that's what unlocks, you know, your raid rings and your raid jackets and all that sort of stuff. Doing it on day one, I could, yeah, I'm not interested in that, and I don't think it's really like feasible for me to set that as a goal.
Yeah, we did a day one attempt just for fun.
Yeah, we like a
It
couple of
was
times,
what, fucking 10 hours?
yeah, like
We were like,
a
can't do
couple of
this
times
anymore.
we have gone into a day one environment just to see how far we get. And like
Because we did that with Disciple as well.
yeah, like we did a decent amount of prep, for at least one of them, and then you know we got to a point, then we came back the next day after contest mode and just like destroyed it.
Yeah.
It is there as a barrier for a reason, you know, like it's meant to be a test.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I think I wouldn't be surprised if next week's TWID we get some explanation, expanding on this statement or explanation of sort of why they're doing it this way. So we'll sit tight. We'll wait. You know, we'll eventually get it done, probably in that first week and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Also, some updates around clan stuff. They're making Hawthorne finally a bit more relevant or useful, making some changes to just like the clan system and how the levels kind of match to rewards, and giving Hawthorne an actual like vendor reward system. Like you have
Vendor review.
vendor review. No, you have like a rank with her, and like there's a whole reward tree like there is with, you know, Shaxx and Zavala and all the others. And there was also something about them like tweaking the quests that you can get, or the bounties that you can get from her, to make them like, I think the one related to Nightfalls, you have to be like top the highest clan level possible. And it's like that being behind that barrier has always felt weird to me, because it's like you can have a small clan that does Nightfalls and never hit that in a season.
Yeah.
I mean, ours is a bit like that at the moment because people just kind of stop playing the game for a bit. So yeah, there's some changes there coming, which I think is good, because like they're a good reward system even now. Like you can get a decent amount of stuff out of it, but it feels like not a lot of people actually engage with it, unless you're like getting a clan together for a raid. Then everyone's like, quick, go grab the raid bounty and get a bunch of fucking raid banners off her while you're at it. Then you buy like 400 and you don't think about it for another year.
Me and Gramps with our fucking 3 stacks of
Yeah.
raid banners.
Yeah. Yeah, some stuff about like fire team finders coming out of beta, which I think is really cool. It means that it is having a much more successful run than Guardian. What was it? Oath Keepers, or the Oath Keeper thing. The Guardian. There was like
Can't remember.
guided games. That's what it is. And there's
That's
like
it.
the Guardian Oath
Okay.
is a part of it. That never came out of beta, and then they basically just deleted it because it never had rewards associated with it, and people just didn't give a shit, right? Like you would, if you did a guided games raid, you didn't get weapon drops. You didn't get like raid drops. You just got a box ticked, and you got to say you did
Yeah.
it. Like that's
This guy is a good Sherpa.
yeah. Fire Team
Yay.
Finder sounds like it's doing that and more. And they're sort of, I think they talked about like some other improvements they're making to it. Like it's still not like doing everything they want it to, but it's working well enough that they're bringing it out of beta and saying like, cool, done. We'll continue to build on it. I still have yet to use it. I definitely mean to because like I want to try and get a few more raids in, get a bit more like get back into that routine a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was just a whole wall of text about just kind of clarifying like of all the stuff that's dropping or has dropped into the light, how that's going to last after that ends and we go into final shape. So all the stuff about like the weapons that you can continue to drop, but the versions of them that you can't, and all of that stuff is in there. I didn't even bother to write down what's in there because like you could just go read it. It's not that interesting, but if you're worried about like what you might miss out on if you're not able to play the game a whole lot while Into the Light is going, it's worth a look. But yeah, other than the raid thing, it was not a terribly like contentious update. Pretty run of the mill sort of stuff this week.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been basically doing my daily Onslaught and then logging off. Oh, I played some Gambit because I had an Onslaught bounty to
Hell
do
yeah.
with Gambit.
I played some Gambit for the same reason.
Um, tweaking a new build. I think a couple of weeks ago I was threatening to build an Arc build. I did it.
Talk me through it. What are we doing?
It's a Ionic Trace heavy build that relies a lot on being amplified.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Arc Souls with Transversive Steps? No. Geomags.
Oh yeah, classic.
My old staple, Geomags.
Chaos Reach.
Yeah. And then depending on I'm kind of playing with weapons at the moment, but obviously Risky Business is coming in clutch. But I've been using grenade launchers like they're going out of fashion
What
because
sort of grenade launchers?
I have a very good hullabaloo with Volt Shot, which is very useful to use on barrier champs.
Yeah.
And then I'm using ball lightning and for once in my life, pulse grenades.
Goodness me.
Because
Who are you?
they blind.
Yeah.
And blinded / shocked or whatever they call it
Jolted.
now. Jolted. Trigger Ionic Traces.
Right, yeah.
So it's about kickstarting that loop.
Mm-hmm.
But then also blinding champions is also good as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've been kind of playing with my primary and trying to figure out what I want. I might have to go into the latest dungeon. Warlord?
Yeah, Warlord's Ruin, sure.
Because I need to farm a pistol from Warlord's Ruin that drops with Volt Shot. Indebted Kindness drops with Volt.
Can you get Volt Shot on a kinetic?
So Indebted Kindness drops with Volt Shot, and that's what I'm chasing.
Right. Weird.
Is that a kinetic or is it a secondary? I can't remember. But if I can get that, it frees up my exotic slot for something like Thunderlord.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
And then I can go full send into the Chain Lightning
circuit. Yeah, my assumption is
because Risky isn't quite doing it at the moment for me. So I need Volt Shot because Volt Shot affects all enemies, not just, as we know, Risky Bisky works best with Elixni.
Well, it's more that they are shooting you with arc, so it just starts it
Yeah.
for you.
So another thing I can try and do is like trip my own arc and then start the circuit. But
I
what that
mean,
means is trying to not kill myself with a grenade launcher, but
yeah.
have it just close
Well,
enough to trigger it.
the thing I used to do when I was running Risk Runner a lot was throw my arc grenade at my own feet, and it just does a little bit of damage, but it's enough arc on
Enough
you
to trigger it.
that you can get Risk Runner going.
The thing is though is like pulse blinding
Yeah.
grenades are
No.
more of a long
Yeah. Yeah.
distance
Yeah.
nade. And they're paying off in dividends for me at the moment, especially with cursed thralls. If the
Mm,
yellow bar cursed thralls, if you can slow them down quite a distance from you and then just fire grenades into the center of them, sometimes I can get like 4 or 5 ionic traces tripped off just wiping that group of ads out
yeah.
just by doing that.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting those patterns recognized and down and then just going for it.
Mm. All right. Minor interruption aside, you need to find a gun. Where are you at?
I need to find people to do Warlord's Ruin with
Mm.
me.
Okay, I'll do it. We just need a third now
Hell yeah!
because I
I need indebted kindness with Vault Shot, please.
yeah yeah. My assumption is because Vault Shot is a arc elemental based perk that it would only show up on energy weapons, which would go in your secondary slot where Risk Runner
Yeah.
currently is.
The main goal is just to free up that exotic slot.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think
also not
perfectly
have to
good.
do the handoff, not do the handoff of receiving damage to start the cycle. Whereas if I can get something with Vault Shot, like I want to be able to actually not have to damage myself to get that, and
Yeah.
Vault Shot can do that.
Yes.
As
Yes.
well as like shitting out ionic traces with kills.
Mm. Yes. Yeah. I never really
It's
got
all
a.
about for me, it's all about a safer way to trip that cycle going.
Yeah, I never really got a like an arc build going that I was satisfied with. Like for Titans, it's basically just you do Thunder Crash, or I don't know, you can do some stuff with like Fist of Havoc, but it's just never been as satisfying to me. Like the super is fun, but everything else about it never felt great. I mean, getting the like
Yeah.
the thruster dodge was neat, and I love that as a bit of Titan kit that you don't get anywhere
So
else.
fun. You
But
fucking launching yourself halfway across Shattered Throne,
yeah,
basically.
but I used to have some like really funky movement tech on my Thunder Crash build that they disabled because you shouldn't be able to do it. Like there's the forget the name of it, but it's like the mini Thunder Crash. I think it's like Ballistic Slam or something like that. But you used to be able to do because you had to jump, you had to sprint, jump in the air, and then do it, and it was like a turbo dive. But if you then activated Thunder Crash mid dive, you would while the super is activating, you wouldn't hit the ground, but you would maintain all of that forward momentum so that you were moving super fast. And then
I've seen you fly across a couple of
yeah,
maps.
they got rid of that a while back. It was definitely not working as they intended, and I used to get a lot of fun out of it. Of just like, oh, I've got to clear this massive gap, or the boss is all the way over there. Fucking check this shit out. And
Yeah.
then not anymore. It was always fun and
Rip.
mayhem to do that shit because no one could see you coming. But also, you'd like line up to do the first dive, and they're getting ready to hit you, and then you're just like zip, just light speed Titan.
Around a fucking corner.
Oh, it's so satisfying. Because yeah, like as you're doing the dive, you could point the camera a different direction, then activate the super, and it would just like give you a 90-degree turn. It used to be so good.
I think another thing that's become interesting is my arc build forces me to play a mixture of close and far.
Okay.
So kind of got to be close for risk runner,
Uh-huh.
but for my hullabaloo and my grenades, I can be quite far back. But what that's forcing me to do is to blind enemies getting close to trip risk runner and then backing out of the fight once the ads are cleared or if a large ad procs,
Yeah.
and then going back to using hullabaloo to trigger the vault shot to get everything back. So it's been interesting trying to like figure that out as someone who's either an all in or all out warlock, where I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
either playing close, like with my void build, I'm playing up in the guts, or with my solar build where I'm kind of a little bit further back, but I'm also hovering constantly.
Yeah, true.
Um, it's really interesting that I've accidentally built a build that is a mixture of both, and it's forcing me
Yeah, I wonder
to use a mixture of both.
if you could get like an auto rifle or something with a little bit more range with Volt Shot to like reduce some of the risk around having to like run in.
Yeah, because my primary at the moment is a pulse rifle to kind of give me that little bit of
Mm,
distance as well.
yeah,
Not as much as like let's say a scout or something, but it's enough that I can kind of walk it back, recover my health, throw down a rift if I have to.
yeah. Like if you got a pretty stable auto rifle, that could maybe bridge that gap, right? Because like submachine guns just don't have quite the range for you to like
Yeah.
stay out. And like I find scouts and pulses like unless you're playing ranged, like there isn't up close potential with them. Whereas with an auto rifle, you
Yeah.
can kind of do a bit of up close
Do
stuff.
both. Well, that's another reason I love if I'm not using graviton, I love using my um gnawing hunger, but I forgot what it trips devour.
Yes. Yeah,
Um
yeah.
that's why I love that because it gives me the kind of mobility, but the handoff is if I want to use graviton lance, I have to sacrifice my
Yeah.
gnawing hunger.
Yeah, very true.
I'd have to do some research to see what's out there for me to use in my primary slot that does carry Volt Shot,
Yeah.
if anything.
Yeah, like I said,
See if I could just
my suspicion is not kinetic. It has to go energy.
yeah, 3 stack of fucking hmm, hmm.
We'll get in there. We'll find your weapon. But yeah, I have also, like I mentioned, been running with some new tech. Still Solar Titan because it's my bread and butter. Um, but Pyrogale gauntlets, which
I was gonna say you're playing with my fire sprites. I'm a
yeah.
fire sprite girly too.
So Pyrogale gauntlets are, like the name suggests, some armor for a Titan, and they completely change the what is it? The Burning Maul, which is like the big hammer, the big two-handed hammer. But it also changes Consecration, which is the alternate Titan melee that you activate while sliding, where
Oh
you
yeah.
jump up in the air and then come back down. It gives that like a second hit, but it turns Burning Maul, instead of turning into like a big spinny fire hammer man, it's just one big hit and a massive wave of fire, and they do so much fucking damage. Um, like so I'm getting like melee kills with the Consecration, and then because of things like melee kickstart and a couple of other mods here and there, I use it and then it's already half full again, and then Orbs of Power will refill it, and I'm dropping a ton of those because of the way that like Scorch and stuff is interacting. Um, and what was the other bit? Yeah, Fire Sprites are also like rekindling a lot of those cooldowns. I've still got the restoration coming from sunspots and shit like that. Is deeply, deeply satisfying to play this. But it's got me like now starting to look for armor with different stat rolls to boost. Like I need a little bit more resilience because I don't have quite the survivability that I want, because I have to get in close for this to work, right? Like I have to run at enemies and slide to do Consecration, the thing that like kind of gets me going.
Yeah.
And I'm also running a solar auto rifle from Crota's End because it has incandescent. So you shoot the enemy, it builds up charges of scorch up to the point where it ignites. If they die, they explode. I'm dropping fire sprites and orbs, and I'm just like refilling my energy that way as well. So it's like I feel like I'm carpet bombing Onslaught. Like when you go into the pyramid ship and you do that corridor where there's just like the enemies coming at you, I'm just like just mowing them down, and everyone is exploding, and all my abilities are getting refilled. It's just very satisfying. That auto rifle also has subsistence, so when I get a kill, I get a few bullets back. So I can, like, I don't know,
That's so
I can
gross.
shoot like 50 bullets out of that thing before I have to reload. And it's like a 360 RPM auto rifle, so it feels slow as shit, but it hits super hard. So as long as I'm just like pegging them in the head, it's so good. It's so very good. And then my exotic is actually what was that fucking rocket launcher that, like, it just came out?
Hullabaloo.
No,
No.
the exotic rocket launcher that it looks like the hothead, but it's same, like the same shape as a hothead. I'm forgetting the name of it.
The shark one?
Yeah, the shark one.
Uh,
The one that, like, basically just dumps fuel.
Dragon's breath.
Yeah, Dragon's Breath. I'm using that because it just does a lot of damage. And I'm working on the catalyst at the moment. Like, I've done the quest, now I've just got to, like, kill enough shit with it to actually apply the catalyst. But yeah, like, because I'm running a lot of Onslaught, the loop is go into the boss room, run at the enemies, do the consecration thing, and because that just, like, starts little fire tornadoes. That's kind of what Pyrogale does, is it just leaves fire tornadoes out there, and those count as melee hits. And the thing about Solar Titans is when you get a melee hit, you become radiant, or at least the way I do it.
Oh.
So I'm always doing extra damage. It's so good. And that also turns all my weapons into anti-barrier weapons, so I don't need to worry about those guys.
Oh yeah.
But also
I just realized
the amount of
when you said that, I was
damage,
like, oh yeah.
yeah, the amount of damage that this build puts out with consecration will just about one shot a champ. So, like, it's gone before it can even activate its fucking whatever.
That's disgusting.
It's
I need to see this in
it's
motion.
so good. And also, I got the fit on check. It looks so good. Brought back that, like, Titan helmet where it looks like a skull that's kind of smoking.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
The fucking Ghost Rider fit.
yeah. And I got the Sparrow to match. And I actually, like, discovered a thing about sparrows that aren't always on time that I had not ever clocked before. So they'll often have, like, different engine types that you can pick, and they don't really tell you what they do. And I just found this out by accident. But the one that I've got on the Sparrow right now, and I don't even know the name of it. I don't know the engine type. I would have to look it up. But the thing that's always been the difference with always on time is you get 6 boost charges instead of 4. But this one, whatever it is that I've got in that Ghost Rider Sparrow, it recharges its boost while you're boosting. So if you're just holding a really long boost, you'll just get it back, like, within a few seconds.
Oh.
Because that was always the thing about, like, the main section I would notice it is Grasp of Avarice, where you're doing that big Sparrow run. Because I would do a lot of side boosting to just, like, you know, course correct on corners and stuff. And that's where Always on Time was good, because you had 6 of them, and I would just hold one boost the whole way through and just kind of, like, do a couple of side boosts to just, like, get the jump right or whatever. This would be basically infinite. It's just like hold the boost and then just, like, side dash. Okay, it's back. It's fine.
You're just fucking tearing through the opening.
So good. But yeah, this build is very fun. I still, like, my kinetic is still that fucking stasis grenade launcher that does disorienting grenades, because that is just still way too useful.
It's still clutch.
Yeah, like, I'm not using it a lot because I'm not doing a lot of high end stuff right now, except for, like, you know, late game Onslaught. But if there's an overload champ or an unstoppable champ, it still works for them in terms of stunning them. And then if there's a room full of ads, yeah, I'll just drop it in there, and then I'll hit them with the consecration, wipe them all out at once.
Hell yeah.
It's so much fun.
I need to see this in motion.
Yeah.
We need to do an Onslaught at some point.
Yes. But yeah, like I said, this was just like, I just took the main armor bits that I use for all my builds, just, like, tweak some mods here and there. But I think I actually need to go and find armor with specific stat rolls at this point for this build. Because, like, the cooldowns are good, but yeah, I'm just
Play around with the dim loadout builder where
Yeah,
you can
it's.
prioritize and preset different
I think the issue is
and see what you
the
get.
the issue is I just don't have that many options in terms of like non-exotic armor sitting around that I could swap in. I think I just actually need to go and like drop some high stat armor because I kind of just found
Yeah.
some that were good for the build I was running all the time and then deleted a whole bunch of shit. Now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, yeah, anything above a 65 stats with this resilience, for example, I should take a look at it. But I just don't have it anymore.
That's what I've been doing is I've been clearing out my vault, but keeping everything above like a 66 or a 67.
Mm.
And only ones that have a prioritized slot. So mainly for Warlock, obviously, recovery in Brazil. And then I've got a couple as well, like boots that have high intelligence.
Yeah.
So with different builds in mind, but then also kind of playing with the dim loadout thing a little bit, being like, well, I need geomags, but the rest you can do whatever you want as long as I get as high as possible resilience.
Walking into a stylist with a pair of shoes and saying, these I have to have, do whatever you want.
You've seen the way I put together outfits. I go, I really like these Converse, so now I have to buy an entire outfit around these
Hey, I get
Converse.
it.
Because I love over consuming.
Yeah.
I've gotten out of that habit, but like I used to be that kind of person. Like you saw it when I got the Lightfall, Beyond Light Palladiums,
Oh, yeah.
the moon
Yeah.
ones, like the black ones, and I was like, well, now I have to build a whole techwear outfit around this specific pair of Palladium boots.
Uh-huh.
I've stopped doing that,
Yeah.
but like that's basically me and my Warlock. It's like I really like these shoes, and I want to make them the focal point of this outfit.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, that's the thing with most exotic armor. Like, Pyrogale gauntlets, when you look at them, they are a very specific look, and trying to make that work with the whole outfit was a little bit of a challenge. It's actually, I think most of the armor I ended up going with was either from Valve the Disciple, no, Root of Nightmares. It was either from that or was like one of the most recent seasonal armor sets or the ornaments off the season pass. So it's like
It's got like that Heart of the Traveler style, like
it's yeah, it's a bit of that, and it's also like that kind of almost like Savathun's Hive, where it's like that white kind of external bone look, but not quite. Yeah, it was a hard look to find.
see, like the Warlocks have the multi-arm
Yeah,
chest,
yeah,
which I wore for ages, and now playing different exotics, I'm like, I need to find a cosmetic for my exotic that makes this fucking jacket work again because I
yeah.
love this jacket. Or my trash build where I, what is it, the alloy
Oh,
one where it's covered in garbage.
yeah, or the armor from like Garden of Salvation, where it's all just like grass and leaves and shit all over you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Or my pimp Varix build.
yeah, that one's very good. Um, yeah, my like when I did that strand build, that's probably like the biggest departure from how my builds typically look visually, because it was like, okay, I'm gonna lean into the way this bow looks. Like I'm going for strands. So I was like trying to find stuff with like that really strong hint of green, but more like in that, neon light kind of its lines as opposed to like solid blocks. And it was, what was it? It was like the hex wrought or whatever the fuck it was, but it's like it basically looks like knotted trees and shit
Yeah.
from like a season or two ago, and it came out looking real
Fucking
sick.
love those cosmetics.
Yeah, so happy with that.
Sometimes I'll just piss people off and I'll just be putting things on and then not change the aesthetic at all. So I've got like 6 different shaders on because I've previously had it in a different build.
Yeah,
So when I equip it, it's got like the fucking amethyst nightmare one that I used to wear to piss people off, the neon purple one. My shoes would be neon purple and then my head is like black and green and then my body is like blue.
yeah. Well,
And people are like, "Ayo, your fucking outfit sucks." I'm like, "I know."
dude,
It's
the
great.
funniest thing, like when I do a new build and like having just done it, this was just like my default move was like, okay, get all the armor and the mods sorted first, then go to the like appearance customization screen, remove all shaders, remove all ornaments, and it looks like utter dog shit because
it looks like
some because
ass.
like I think my chest piece is like a scorched barren plate from Forsaken. The legs are armor out of Prophecy. One of them is from like it's all dungeon shit for the most part because like some of it's artifice armor to get the extra stat slot, but none of it goes together, and it looks like hot mess in there.
That's sometimes I will just exist like that.
No, I cannot.
I would just load into activities with the most dog shit fucking outfit on and still get a fucking best dress commendation. Like, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank you for my pity
sarcastic.
vote.
In
My pity vote.
yeah, in parentheses, sarcastic.
/ JK
Yeah,
after they give it
yeah.
to
I
me.
wish. I wish. Although that'd be toxic and not the point of commendations. But yes, I'm having a lot of fun setting everything on fire. I am killing myself with that rocket launcher more than I would like because it leaves a trail of fire behind it, and that will kill
And then
me.
you run straight
Yeah,
into
well,
it.
because like it's just a straight line ahead of me where the enemies are. I'm like, I need to get in there. Oh, I should actually take a step to the side first.
Oh, my little feety's hot.
Yeah. So like that same thing when you go into the pyramid ship and onslaught, like the mid set one, not the boss wave one, where like you go through that corridor, someone does the rift thing. I'll that the doors open, I'll fire the rocket straight down the middle, and I'll run down the side. No, but then I take a step and run down the side of the corridor. I just watch the other two blueberries just run up the middle. None of them have died yet from it, so I don't know if maybe I'm just doing something stupid. I don't know, but the point of that rocket launcher is like if you land the rocket in something like an enemy, it just then spews out fuel that catches fire and just does a ton of damage right in that area.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these bosses in Onslaught are big and slow, and so
So you just
I don't,
lob a rocket into
yeah,
their fucking
I don't
face.
need to try too hard to get a rocket stuck in a giant shank, for example.
Lob a grenade straight into a shrieker's eye.
Oh, so satisfying. Except if you land it on its like exoskeleton and there's like immune, immune, immune. Ah, fuck me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
I want to see it in motion now.
You will. You will.
Yes.
Soon. I will show off my combat tricks.
Hell yeah. And you can look at my pissy little arc build.
Just me doing all of that and then there's like an arc soul following me around. Not
Yeah.
helping.
You have a little friend.
Yeah, always.
Take this with you.
Yeah, and
Arc soul.
the benefit is with consecration. I'm still running throwing hammer.
Hammies for the
and well,
demies.
it's not doing big damage because I'm not built around throwing hammer with this, but it's still good every now and then because you can pick the hammer up and then it just fully recharges. So if there's like one enemy, I'll just use that because otherwise I've got to like do the full consecration thing. Sure, I get halfway filled, but that only really works if I hit like 2 or 3 enemies with the consecration. And I need the orbs to drop to be able to fill it the rest of the way up. So, yeah, if it's just one enemy, I'll just hit him with the classic. Just hammer in the head, and then I'll go pick it up.
Bonk.
Yeah.
Bing bonk.
Still good. Classics.
Yeah.
Never die.
I've like surprisingly not used my void build in Onslaught yet, and I'd imagine 5 old gods would be.
Oh, this would be so good.
But not 6,
No.
because that's where my PC crashes.
Yeah. You got to get another warlock to do it for you.
Yeah. Maybe next time I do Onslaught, I'll change to my void and just see what that's like.
Yeah, you just put old gods around the battery, and then as shit is coming in, you're like, all right, bet.
All right, devour, let's go.
Yeah. I'll just stand here and
Yum,
shoot
yum,
you.
yum. Give me your life force. It is mine now.
Yes.
I'd love to be able to do a fucked up stasis build, but I haven't found one that works for me yet.
I mean, it's basically just warlocks running stasis. Like, it's always annoying. Like, there's turrets, and then the super is. I'm speaking more from like a PvP perspective, but like, it's always doing stuff.
Yeah, just warlocks just do be doing things.
Yeah. The most, in fact. Warlocks be doing the most.
We do. We do get a little bit carried away sometimes.
Yeah. Ah, dear. But yeah, I think, hey, that's new builds. That's new into the light. I think that's about it for this episode.
Yeah.
You're about to go and do a whole bunch of like social stuff, so we may not be around next week.
Uh,
I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe. No
Essentially, I'm about to
promises.
go. Essentially, I'm about to go to 3 gigs in a row.
Okay, yeah. Let's say no guarantees for next week having an episode, but if it does, hey,
Two of
that's a
them.
bonus.
2 of them are 4 hours long.
Jesus, dude. All right.
I'm so keen.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm
so excited.
incredibly jealous. Um, but hey, hit the
I'll
buttons.
Snapchat it to you. It'll
Yeah,
be the
do
worst.
that.
Just
Hit the buttons under this here video and or audio experience. Tell a friend. Leave a comment if you like. Tell us what your favorite brave weapon is and what deranged things you're getting up to with it.
seeing as he's not a show anymore, I'm gonna steal it from Rove. Say hi to your mum for me.
Say hi to your dad for me. Yeah. But until next time, bye.
Bye.